as a group of peers. Is there any single one? Yeah, I have the footage, Payne. I can send it to you. I have the back end. Okay, so I was running the event and I was trying to do role playing at the same time as our hiring event, which happened Friday. Friday evening, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It was 3 p.m. for me, but 6:30 for everybody else in that time zone. When I was doing the hiring event, I set up hot spots on our map out front in for basically mic control. I put colonels in those spots because colonels are supposed to be training the hard hats how to do role playing. The hard hats are then supposed to take the knowledge that they know and pass it down to the soft hats. From there, we build up, and it's supposed to be really good if it's done correctly. So I applied that to the system. I put them as points to where if you stood there and you went from one kernel to the next and I called them out by name, you wouldn't be in the same mic area. Everybody would be happy and not overlapping each other or moving extremely far away from our event. So we could hold it all together, and they were supposed to take soft hats to each little designated spot when they had a hire. What happened was is it was supposed to be two hard hats, one kernel, and two soft hats, or whatever we could spread out with the amount of numbers. When we did that, everything was working fine, except for we had a whole bunch of hires that needed the hard hats to break off from their group, which was great. That allowed for the coverage. Then, when we finished the event, I was doing a perimeter run out in front of the gate because a lot of times we will give them, Discord macros, and then they will have to log off. So I went to double check to make sure there was nobody lingering in that area. When I did that, Mr. Leo saw I was alone. There was one other person out in front of the gate with three other people, and I left that person to the gate, and I was going to get coverage after people checked in to HQ. I called for a debriefing on the walkie, told everybody to head there from the gate. We were going to have a little debriefing, dismiss everybody that was a faction member, keep everybody that was brand new, going to be brought into the faction that needed information for how to do their job before they start and get their faction weapons. And we were going to have the base tour done for them, but I called the meeting because we had ran 15 minutes late. So I was going to run the tours after. So I was trying to get to HQ when Leo got off the BCs and stopped me before I could reach up over South Gate. When I stood there, he said, "What are you doing? Why are you making that call on the walkie for a debriefing after a hiring event?" I said, "Because I already talked to Glenn, who is a 3-star general, about this process. We started doing this event together. Nobody else showed up for us. Nobody higher ranking than Glenn. Glenn was the only one. And you know what? I got to commend that guy, because even though he was sitting there suiting people, he was wandering around also getting CS certificates, asking people questions. He was trying to get people hired. So, because it would make a stand against Leo. That's why. Where are you going? Antisocial? Why what? I'm listen, listen. I'm trying to tell you. He tried to pull me into CT and get me a reprimand for being disrespectful to him, but he was interrupting my process of what I was doing. I already got the okay from somebody higher up, and he tried to power play me. He tried to tell me that no, I couldn't do that command, that I couldn't walkie everybody to debriefing and then release people to go back to their positions and take care of the rest of the people that needed macros and suit the people. I had Glenn there. So instead of being able to finish my job and us getting new hires, do you know what happened? I left my job duties to the hard hats and the soft hats in the room that belong to our faction, and every single suit got called as a mandatory meeting in the middle of our debriefing for the hiring event to close it all out. And he invited us to CT to handle the situation with me and Leo. And he brought every single gen for that. That was online. It was mandatory. Called us in there. Weren't you there, Mr. Payne? guys can still have Delta Ops, but unless you guys quit and you guys don't give him any members to actually be in that unit, they can't replace him. He will stand there forever. He has already left this faction and came back and told everybody as a soft hat, as a hard hat, that he used to be somebody in here. Go ahead, raise your hand and tell me what he does on this base besides Delta Ops. Go ahead. Has he hired anybody this week? Like what? Like what? Go ahead and name it. I'm ready because he hasn't done any hiring. I haven't seen him do any training. It's all Delta Ops strict. And that's not yes. Back before he became homeless and living out of his car, yeah, he had far more access to being online because he had Wi-Fi. Now he doesn't have that. Yeah, we were close. He had a personal conversation between me and Callie, and now I know he's a dirty member. I'm telling you that right now, and I'm not saying you can't have Delta Ops and run it, but I would rather see somebody else run it than him. But with you guys in that unit, you guys will not be able to change that. And I promise you right now, he's going to rub you guys wrong. You may like him now, but I promise you, he will rub you wrong. Alex, you've been here a long time. Tell them. Tell them how he is. It's not about that, but I don't think he should be in a position of power like that over there. He should be a supervisor, not the person running it. Just like I am the supervisor for MPs. I do not have anything to do with running that unit. That way, I have access to being able to help train and mentor you guys and make sure that we are a solid faction. I'm not saying stab me. I'm not saying do it, but I'm giving you the information of what it would take. Now imagine he starts targeting you guys and then does something to the Delta Ops in the future where he ends up getting caught up for everything that he's been doing and starts getting reprimands and dismissed and then decides to torch everything that he made for Delta Ops because it belongs to him. Do you understand what I'm trying to tell you? He put a hit he put a hit on me. He put a gang member hit on me. There's two of them, one for $75,000 and one for 100K. And then he wants to stand in front of the room and accuse other members of our faction of putting a hit on him. Explain that to me. Go ahead.